Hey, Sam. Welcome back to the Blazor Power Hour. How are you doing, man?
Good, hanging in there.
So I have two things I wanted to see if we could tackle today, Sam. One, let's pull my screen up. I have
Yay!
this
Look at that.
thing.
You
It's
are on a
there.
Mac.
We are on a Mac.
For now.
I
Until you
have
can connect.
very little control over the resolution, by the way, so I will try to make this as best as I possibly can, but being remoted in, it doesn't like me changing the resolution much. I think I have it working, but I can only get it to work from the command line.
Okay.
So the Visual Studio installer would not install the Maui bits. And I think this is a known issue, and I don't know if it's been worked out yet. This was last week I was trying to do it. So I think we'll just avoid Visual Studio and see what we can do with VS Code.
We can do both things, but first let's set the stage. Like you're wanting to do .NET MAUI and .NET MAUI. If you want to pull up a browser tab, so we did have .NET MAUI go live GA after a year and a half in development. So it's a big milestone. Really. Kudos to the team. I know like there are things that are still being worked on, but it's out production ready. It has been actually production ready for a month or two now. We have had 14 preview releases and then 3 release candidates before it's now GA. And all of the release candidates have the Go Live license, so you can go build production apps with it. So this was a major milestone to getting it out of the door. And yes, things are not perfect, but we'll keep on working on things, tooling side of it particularly. And with it, if you want to pull up Telerik.com or blogs.telerik.com, the ecosystem is also coming up fast. And we released Telerik UI for .NET MAUI, which should be the first thing that's pinned in there. So this was also a big effort from our part and our engineering. So this is also out for GA. This blog post went live, like an hour or so after the Microsoft blog post. We just had to check a few things on our end, and we are, out and ready. So yeah, I see the chat room here. Smab UK, hello. You don't have to target iOS. That's fine. Yeah,
we got a really good question here already. What's the difference between Blazor and MAUI?
Okay, I can try that. So first up, some Microsoft folks get a little upset when we just call it MAUI. It's .NET MAUI all the time to get the branding right. So MAUI is multi-platform app UI. The P is silent because MAUI sounds so much better than MPAUI, right? Now, MAUI is a direct evolution, or that's kind of how it started, of Xamarin Forms. So to Hector HSC's point, it started out, as wanting to be mobile first mindset, because Xamarin Forms essentially lets you do iOS and Android very nicely, and then some other platforms on the side. But that's kind of where it started. They were trying to address some of the pain points in Xamarin Forms and move things over nicely into .NET MAUI, give developers more confidence, truly a single project, revamped architecture. But in the last, 7 or 8 months, they have realized that this is, the .NET cross-platform strategy going forward. So it's not just mobile anymore. Desktop is also very, very welcome with iOS. With Mac support and with Windows support. So that's all with .NET. And also the good thing is .NET MAUI opens up the funnel. So folks like Ed who just don't want to write XAML, you don't have to. You can write your entire UI in C#. If you don't like the MVVM pattern, you can do MVU pattern. So it really opens up the architectural game as to how you write your UI. Now, that's all for .NET developers, who are used to doing native stuff on Windows or mobile. But if you did want to bring in some web goodness, which is the question here, Blazor and Angular and React and Vue, these are all web frameworks that helps you build, web applications. That's how you build modern web apps today, but you can bring those things into .NET MAUI fairly easily and be able to reuse some of your web code inside of a native app and share code better. So it's a good story. So yeah, Ed has visuals.
I do. So with Maui, .NET Maui, you can embed a Blazor WebView component, which is a WebView 2 component, and that hosts your Blazor application inside of the .NET Maui app. So you basically get that shell, or you can mix and match UI. You can have some XAML-based UI in there, which is the platform UI that you're on, whether it's Mac or iOS, Android, etc. And you can actually mix and match those things as much as you want, or you can have Blazor take over the entire shell of the application. But it circumvents the necessity for WebView or WebAssembly, which makes your application faster. You also get access to the device APIs, which is awesome. You can't do that just in the browser by itself. So
I will say though, like the WebView 2, the way you have it, that's only for Windows though. It's not WebView 2 on Mac or on iOS because their browser is different.
Yeah, the Blazor WebView component, I guess that shifts the WebView component somehow. What is the story there?
It's a wrapper. So I mean, if you go back to the slide again, so essentially, what you get from .NET MAUI is a single component called the Blazor Web View. Now, it says it's Blazor Web View, but it actually doesn't have anything to do with Blazor. It is a smart wrapper, and its job is to figure out what platform are you running this on. Are you on Windows? Are you on Mac? Are you on iOS or Android? And correspondingly, look for the OS browser that is installed, any greenfield browser that's installed on your OS, and give you the corresponding web view. So on Windows, you get exactly this. What you have, you get WebView 2. That's the Edge, web view component on Windows. If you're on iOS, you get the Safari component. If you're on Mac, you get what's called WK Web View. And on Android, you get, what's it called? What's the Chromium web view called? I'm drawing a blank, but you get the idea. The Android browser is what you get.
Interesting. So I know you have the option of doing like Evergreen. You can also package a specific version with your app. I wonder how that works with it swapping out.
No, you cannot package, as far as I know.
That's what that's what's in the docs.
Can you pull up the docs?
It was. I have a quote from it. I don't have the actual link to the docs right now. I grabbed this from one of Dan Roth's. This was in one of Dan Roth's. It was you can do evergreen or fixed distribution. Yeah. So I grabbed that from some of their documentation. I didn't come up with that on my own. Unless it's something they changed. Oh, did it go black?
Good to see you. You like the black background. This is Ed's desktop. No, so evergreen distribution mean here. Oh wait. Looks like your stream went down for a second, but now it's back. That's weird. And Ed's doing all the driving. I don't have any of the admin rights today. Stream down. But
I didn't see anything go down. It might have been a Twitch thing. Yeah, StreamYard's reporting everything's fine.
No, it was a little blip. I saw it, but now it looks like it's back in. Okay. So let's try to unpack this a little bit. So if you go back and look at something like Electron, okay, Electron.js has been out for a long time. Blaming Ed seems to be a good strategy. I blame Ed for everything, and then Ed can complain all he wants. So if you go back to Electron.js gives your apps that fixed canvas to render, because it includes Node.js and it includes a fixed version of Chromium. The benefit is you get like a stable canvas to build your apps on, but the downside is your app is a little heavy because you're including the Node.js runtime and you're including a specific version of Chromium. right? In this case,
Mhm.
you are including the browser component with your app, right? So even if the user doesn't have anything, your app will just be fine. But in this case here, you are really depending on. So, but by evergreen distribution, what it's meant is we are punting the responsibility off to the user to say, we trust you that you have a modern browser. It doesn't need to be anything specific. Could be Firefox, could be Mozilla, could be anything. But as long as you have a modern browser, we can grab the corresponding WebView component.
Yeah, this
So
is a WebView 2 specific thing, I guess, not the
this is
Blazor WebView.
no, this is WebView 2 because this is only on Windows.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so you can distribute however you like on that on Windows.
Because this is a NuGet package on Windows. This you can version. This you can send out a fixed version of it. But on .NET MAUI, you get to depend on the user to have a modern OS.
Awesome. That's actually really good to know because some people, I would probably choose the evergreen version myself anyway, but some people might need the specific version because, SOX auditing and all kinds of weird stuff that you see in enterprise environments. They force you to like document every version of everything. And if you change versions, there has to be like a change log involved and all that. And there's procedures for things that don't apply to that as well. So, you can get around those things, but you have to be very careful about how you do it. Lived in that world for a little bit. Don't want to do it again.
I can't even highlight messages today. All of my buttons are gone.
Who are we looking at? Which
so
question?
Foolish Nabble had a couple of interesting comments here. I don't have the exact numbers here, Fool, but it is substantially smaller. I think the Electron Hello World is about 2 megs, but again, don't quote me, I might be wrong. The .NET MAUI one is substantially smaller. And then you can do a Hello World .NET MAUI app, and you can see the built file. It's not much at all. And if you're on Mac OS, then you don't need Chromium. You get the Safari one. It's called WK WebView, which is the Safari WebView component.
Yeah.
And then add pull up a browser, then you can see as well. Apple has this nicely documented.
Pull up the browser where?
Just any screen you want to share, and just pull up a browser. So Foolish Nabble, MAUI plus .NET runtime is smaller. Yes, it is. Because like you have to understand that .NET MAUI runs on .NET 6, so it doesn't try to bundle in any of the .NET MAUI runtime, unless like that's what you're doing for your publishing needs. But it depends on you having .NET installed, so it is literally just the app.
It's not giving me the option for some reason here. I'll have to go Holomeers because it's not giving me my browser. There we go. Where are we going, Sam?
Search for WK WebView.
I think part of the reason for this is each OS has its own kind of default web engine. So like on mobile devices specifically, this is more of an issue because on iOS, I believe you only have the WebKit. Is it WebKit?
No, it's WebKit. Yeah.
No matter what browser you open, it's still WebKit.
No, you can install Chrome on iOS.
You can, but they at least in the past, unless they changed something, Apple used to force you to use their engine, and this is the same on iOS or Android as well. There you could only use Chromium based engine on Android devices. I don't know why it was like this or is like this, but it was like that at some point on both platforms. You were stuck. That's why you didn't see Edge and
here's the thing, and you might be right that this might have been how it was. Like on Android, like you cannot get Safari on Android. Safari is a very iOS specific thing. So on Android, you're either using Chrome or you're using Edge, which is the same engine. It's the same Chromium engine, so you don't really have much of a choice. But on iOS, you can choose Chromium to be your default browser, and then it doesn't force you to use Safari.
So on 9 to 5 Google, it says on the iOS platform, Apple requires every browser to run WebKit. Even Google Chrome is forced to run WebKit on iOS devices. This is cited 2021, so that wasn't very long ago. And then let's see about Android.
So are you saying like even if you're using Chrome on iOS, the engine that it's using to render is still WebKit?
Correct.
Yeah, that'll be very, very icky.
Well, that's the Apple way, my friend. That's the walled garden that you choose freely and willingly.
Take it or leave it, right?
I believe Android used to be the same, so it's not like they were any better, but it looks like that may have changed at some point, at least on Android. But it does say most web browsers available on Android are based on Chromium. So even Firefox, I think at one point was Chromium based, and even Opera. So it was a thing, and it still seems to be a thing on Mac. You know,
I think Foolishnable kind of summed it up right. Like they know what is best for you. You don't need to think. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Chrome is just a skin on WebKit. That's so you get the worst of all worlds when you're on iOS when you're browsing, because WebKit is like the Internet Explorer of the 2000s. So
yeah.
Anyhow.
Anyway, so you get the whatever is the OS giving you as a web view in Dr. MAUI. So to answer one of the questions I think that Fool was asking, I need to verify this. I haven't done this, but if you are doing a .NET MAUI app, you do have the option of including .NET with your app. That's the whole .NET back thing, where if you are particularly on a desktop app, if you are shipping and you do not know what the user is running, then you do have the option of bundling .NET with it. Then that would definitely increase the app size. I just don't know off the top like what it is or how much it is.
So this definitely is what I was talking about, and that does apply to MAUI as well. That's why they're forced to do this hot switching of web views inside, because if it's going to access the web and display web pages, you're going to have to use their engine. It's basically what they're saying, and I'm sure they're trying to think for the right word here. Their messaging on this is it's a security thing, but I'm sure that's the easy way to explain it to people. But they probably also, it's Apple. It keeps you in their ecosystem, keeps you in their dev tools and all that stuff. So it's a little bit of gatekeeping, a little bit of security, and a lot of excuses.
Okay. All right. WebKit is what you get on iOS then. All right. So I think we really dived into that question. But
that's fine.
What do you want to do?
So let's take a look first. Let's see, can we create a MAUI app on Mac? And then if we still have time, I wanted to see if you could at least show me where to find the setup for building remotely on this Mac from Windows. Because I know that is a thing that I can do as well, right?
Wait, say that again. Building remotely on this Mac from Windows. What do you mean?
Yeah, so here, I'll show you real quick, and then we can jump back to that in a second. Let me share. I'm gonna throw some holomirrors up again. Please excuse me. I've only got one monitor right now. So if I open Visual Studio, there we go. All mirrors should be gone.
Now this is on Windows.
This is on Windows.
All right.
And let's just open. Let's see. Do I have a? Let's do a new one. Let's do a new.
Oh, you're trying to create a .NET MAUI
app.
or a Xamarin project on Windows, and then you
Yeah.
want
So,
to. Okay. Gotcha.
so
No,
if I,
that's a very Visual Studio thing.
oh no, I don't want to put it in there. Usually it changes the directory, and it didn't this time. Well,
so SMAB UK is, referring to what you just did. So building for iOS or Mac apps from VS on Windows via compiling on the Mac. Yes.
yeah. So I have options here. Oh, come on. I'm going to misclick that one too.
You started a build.
Yeah, I didn't mean to start a build. Can I cancel the build? Can't cancel build. Really?
No, go up to build, the menu. Yeah, and
there
then
we go.
cancel.
Cancel.
All right.
And then up here, you can see I have all these drop downs. I have local devices for iOS, which I don't have. iOS simulator.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then iOS remote devices. And then what if I want to just build this for Catalyst? Like,
yeah. Okay, hold on. So back on your Mac, you have to understand what is being built here. Okay, it is a native app, right? So on your Mac, do you have Xcode installed?
I do.
All right.
Because it forced me to twice. So not only do you have to install Xcode, but you have to then run Xcode, which it doesn't tell you, because it still has to install more crap. And if you don't run it, it will just throw random errors.
It's it's installing the command line tools that it needs.
Yeah, but see, it doesn't tell you that. So like I install, this is helpful for people though if they run into this. So I'm going to say it. So if you install .NET and then you new up a MAUI app and you go to compile it, it's going to throw an error and say you need to install Xcode because Apple. And then you go ahead and install Xcode and then run the build command again, it will still fail unless you go physically run Xcode for the first time so it can finish doing whatever the heck it needs to do to allow you to actually build an app. So just the word to people that are doing this for the first time, make sure you go ahead and launch Xcode because you will spend a lot of time.
Why would you install Xcode and not actually run it? That's rude.
Because I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't want it.
Visual Studio needs it. And hey, Egil Hansen in the chat room. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. We are just tinkering, Ed and me. Ed's you're just trying to watch Ed here. I'm with Ed here. Okay, yeah. Well, let me back up and say with .NET MAUI, what we keep on saying that we are welcoming web developers into native land. What we essentially mean is come and share our pain, understand all the crap that we have to deal with to get our apps into the app stores and build for specific mobile devices.
So far, everything I've run into is Apple's fault. This is all gatekeeping. Yes, it is. It's all gatekeeping so far.
Because you have to understand, you're getting to this from a very roundabout way. This is not how God intended iOS devices to be or apps to be made. If you are straight up on a Mac writing iOS apps, you will never have to jump through any of this.
Note that when Sam says "as God intended," in Sam's world, God is Steve Jobs, as all Apple users see their deity. So yeah, the way God intended is for you to go through only Apple and Apple's tooling to do things. Yeah. So I get that.
I understand that, that's also not how Apple sees the world, which is why, you have apps in the Apple's App Store that are PWAs, that are made with Xamarin, that are made with .NET MAUI.
They've tried everything they could do to not let that happen, haven't they? Anyway, let's see. So we've got Xcode.
Okay, that's good then. Now go back to Visual Studio.
So I think I know where the name Xcode came from. So this is like when you break up with someone, that's your ex. So anyway, create a new project.
No, you don't have to do anything in Xcode. You just need to have the bits installed.
Oh, okay. Because this thing's installed.
Yeah. So .NET MAUI essentially needs to go talk to your Mac and go talk to Xcode, do the build, and come back with an app package. So now go back to Visual Studio. Before you do anything else, on the top menu, right where you have the debug, any CPU, then your Pixel 5, then you have your hot reload, keep going to the right. Keep going to the right. One of those three things paired to the Mac. Exactly. So go back to the Mac for a second. Hold on. Before you do this, go back to the.
Doing it on its own.
No, it's not doing anything. Go back to the Mac here for a second. Yeah, keep that. Hide that. Go to your system preferences and sharing. Remote login.
Oh, see, if I do this, it might break the rest of the show. I had this enabled. Oh, there it goes. It just went away. I just broke it.
Uh-oh.
Darn it. Yeah, I can't get that back. That's not gonna. Oh, let me come back. Thank God.
So Visual Studio needs to reach. Looks like all users. No, you're fine. You're fine. Don't touch
I am really
else.
surprised it let me do that. This is what I spent an hour fixing this morning because at random it just stopped letting me do this.
Go back to Visual Studio. Go back to Visual Studio.
All right. Studio.
And hit OK.
I gotta OK this firewall thing first.
Yes, allow that. Yep. Now hit OK. All right, add a Mac. All right, now, my friend, you need to know this because otherwise you
the IP address. 192.168.136.168. So I memorized this because I had to troubleshoot this for an hour this morning.
Look at that. It's trying to connect. SSH. Hey, yo. Curious Drive. Hey, yo.
All right, so it's not letting me log in for some reason. Let me double check the IP. That should be the right one, though. It may because the way I have security set up. Settings. Nope. It's under here.
Well, what about options? Is there anything blocked?
Yeah, 192.168.136.168. Pretty sure that's what I put in.
Curious Driver saying, let's hack Ed's Mac. Like, if Ed can get into his own Mac, then that'll be progress.
Yeah. If you could get in there and hack it, please do, and just nuke the thing, because it's stupid. Yeah. It's not letting me log in. Probably because user wouldn't let me enter anything. 192.
Is it on the same like Ethernet network?
Yes, sir.
Can you reach it instead of the IP? Reach it with the computer name, because that should be reachable. If you're on the same network.
Reaching it, but it says it's not reachable because I'm logged into it now. Maybe that's why it won't let two people access it at the same time. I don't. Let's try this.
Just log out of this.
Yeah. Let me.
You have people in your chat room who are like-minded here. Rocket Man is saying, I'm not going to bring a Mac into my house, let alone attach it to my dev machine.
I agree. I should never have done this. It's done nothing but cause me trouble.
Oh, no.
Nothing but cause me trouble. What does pair do? Hang on. What is pair to? Oh, this is just documentation.
That's just documentation.
Remote login needs to be. I don't have that enabled.
Wait, what? No? Okay, so then go back and enable that. And is that going to kill your VNC connection?
It could. It most likely could, and probably will. I'm surprised the VNC is working because I changed it from. So when I set this up, I set it up to. I had to set it on screen sharing versus remote management because it would not work on remote management this morning.
All right,
just at random.
Go to remote login.
Okay, remote login.
Okay,
and
now
it's
add
allowing
yourself.
There.
Say all users. Say all users.
All users. And then let's try this again. Visual Studio. Oh, it looks like it's already.
There you go.
It already picked it up. connect.
There you go.
And then I got a username.
All right, internet, take note. Take note of Ed's
Is this
username
going to
password.
be... Hang on a second here. I don't know if it's going to be that username or...
It needs to be... however, okay, it could be either like your Apple user account to get into your Mac, or I think like can your Visual Studio account get into your Mac? Is it the same account?
I don't know what it wants, really.
All right, well, try your Mac account first. I think it's your Mac account. That's all it means. Yeah. Because Visual Studio will pretend that it is you trying to get to your Xcode. No.
It did not like that password. Oh, let's see. So let's try.
try your bank account.
That is my local account on that Mac.
That's what it needs.
Okay, that's working.
Yeah. See, it's starting up the connection.
So this will then be able to build remotely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't that fancy?
Yeah.
So that's one of the cool things about Visual Studio is it can do all this crazy stuff.
Keep in mind, this is nothing to do with .NET MAUI. This was all done for Xamarin and Xamarin Forms.
Yes, that's a good point to make, Sam. Yeah, this has existed for a while, right? How long would you say? Like years, right?
4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
And so if you're a Windows user and you want to build for iOS, you never, ever, ever have to see a Mac. And you can be like Ed. Just throw your Mac somewhere on the network that Visual Studio can reach, and that's all it needs to do the builds.
And there's third-party services too, right? Whoa. See, this is what I keep getting. This is on the Mac side, Sam. This is what I was having an issue with on Visual Studio.
Yeah, your Mac needs to have that installed. Otherwise,
it is installed.
All right, let's go look into your Mac.
It is installed, Sam.
Okay.
This is why Visual Studio keeps failing to install on my Mac, and it makes no sense because I have.
What is this hyper? What is this you were using?
This is a. Hang on a second. I'm trying to make this more stream friendly.
So while you're doing that, Rocketman is asking, what's the reasonable use for a Mac? I found in the past, a lot of people used to get Mac Minis. Yeah, I think that's still the case. A lot of people do get the Mac Mini because it is cheap. You can just throw it on the network. You don't have to get a physical Mac, though. There are services like macinthecloud.com, which will essentially be this, where you're paying for a macOS license for a little while just to get your builds done and then come back. As long as Visual Studio can connect to a Mac, which has Xcode, and it's running the same version of .NET, you should be good. Okay, so you have 6.0.300 installed. Do you have all the MAUI workloads installed?
Yep, I can actually spin up a MAUI app on here. Yet it says when I try to install anything that .NET's not installed. Does that make any sense to you?
No. But from Visual Studio on Windows, was it a .NET MAUI app? Are you having? Do you have the same?
So here's the only thing I can imagine it is. So in here, I have a global.json file. So
yeah, is it picking up the right version of OS?
Oh my God, how many times do I have to register the VS Code? What do you call it? Path or whatever it is, so that I can actually just launch it from there. It won't launch. I've tried this like 3 different times. It works for a day and then it stops working.
No, just you're using different. Hold on, you're jumping too fast. So to answer your first thing, you need to do this just once in your Bash profile, in your ZSH profile.
I'm telling you, I've done it more than once.
It should pick up because I can always do just code dot.
All right, so let's remove that for a second. This could be the issue, and it's super annoying that it is, if that's what it is. So I've just taken out the global JSON, and now if I do .NET version, I have preview installed, and I think installing that preview has been a huge mistake because I think all the installers are seeing it and blowing up on it. And the global.json file, since the lovely world of Linux here on a Mac or Unix, whatever you want to call it, that's at the core of this fresh new hell, doesn't let you set a global JSON where the installer is running. So it always just throws this .NET's not installed error, even though it's clearly installed.
Yeah. And .NET MAUI does not work. I mean, it kind of does, but you don't want to be in .NET 7 for .NET MAUI.
But this is also blocking installations of tooling now. And guess what? You can't get rid of it.
What do you mean you can't get rid of it?
You cannot uninstall this.
You can't uninstall .NET 7?
Nope.
It's a folder. Just blow it away.
Okay, let's try. Be my guide, Sam. Where are we going with this one?
Okay. Go to Finder. Hold on. Let me look up where that might be on my machine.
Okay. Because this would be a manual uninstall, which I haven't tried. I tried using the .NET Core uninstall tool, and you run it, and it says this version cannot be uninstalled. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's useful. Not useful.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay, where are you? Go in Finder. Okay. Go to the Go menu up on the top.
The Go menu?
No, very top.
Oh yeah, I forget. They hide their menus up here. That's fun. It's always fun.
Say go to folder. Yep, and go /USR for user. Yep, and then /local. Yep. Hold on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit enter.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Go to share. You have it. Yep. Go to share. And go to .NET. Okay, this is where all of your .NETs live. Okay. So, you know what? Just blow away all of .NET. Who cares?
Okay. So
just blow up that whole folder.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I have to install the OS for a third time.
The OS? No.
Yeah, I've had to do this twice now. Because Mac is like, I'm just going to corrupt myself today, and nothing's going to work.
Run .NET version again. It should totally blow up. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yay! Thank you, Sam.
Go to your browser and just get .NET 6.
Why is there a .NET uninstall tool if that's all you needed to do?
You need to know where .NET installs itself and so on.
It's so much easier just to show that in a blog post than the 12 steps it takes to get the uninstaller.
Hold on. Hold on. No, actually, you're fine. But why is it ARM? Oh, you are on ARM.
I'm on an M1.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I tried to cause as many problems as I can.
Fancy.
I went with the most problematic thing I could find.
You're on the bleeding edge.
It's bleeding, all right. So, and I like tight security, but I also hate the fact that you can't be a developer on a Mac and just say, I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone the rest of the time.
Sure, you can. That's the
how do you turn this off? How do you turn this off?
That's the whole selling point of Linux. Turn what off?
The user account control stuff that keeps you logging in every 5 seconds to do literally anything.
No, it doesn't.
I know you can't. It does. It does it on the command line, for God's sakes. Like, leave me alone. So on Windows, you elevate the entire command prompt, and then it leaves you alone. You can also turn off UAC on Windows. I wouldn't recommend it for most people, but I'm a developer. I've been using Windows for 20 years. I think I can handle myself without getting a virus. Yet I can't turn it off on a Mac because Mac is Unix, and Unix is uber secure.
We're missing some golden comments if you want to highlight, because I can't highlight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's see what folks are saying here.
the second one from Smab UK. I've missed watching Ed for an entire hour. That's what we're doing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're very welcome. This is what we're trying to do today.
All right. Now, go back into your .NET installation. See what you got now.
Yeah, .NET.
And version.
Version.
There you go.
Yay,
all right.
6.3. All right. So now what we should be able to do.
Go back to Visual Studio. Connect
try
again.
this again. Let's see if it throws the same .NET's not installed error. If it does, I'm gonna have to just wipe the system. By wipe the system, I mean take my Mac for a swim. I have a pool, and it's like right outside my window, and yeah, that was it. Nope, something else. Could not install workload.
Oh, you hold on. You blew away all of MAUI as well. Go back to your Mac. No, we blew away .NET. All right, so now go sudo. No, sudo.
Oh yeah.
Sudo.
And, okay, so I'm already telling it, hey, I'm an administrator, and then it's going to still ask me for a password. But okay,
like
go ahead.
Apple is courteous. Like you're sitting on a branch, you're cutting off the branch. Are you sure?
I'm sure I could. Can I just say I'm sure one time, and then you leave me alone, let me do my thing? No.
So sudo .NET workload install MAUI. Mm-hmm.
It's a mouthful.
And we were doing a stream with Alyssa yesterday. Like, keep in mind, folks, you don't have to do any of this. Like Visual Studio installers, especially on Windows, will do all of this for you. On the Mac side, it's also coming.
This will. It is on the Mac. It wouldn't work because of that preview I had installed.
I see. Yeah.
So this would have already been installed through the Visual Studio installer.
Yeah, we all try to be on the bleeding edge, but I'm not on .NET 7 on anything because, like, I know things don't work seamlessly.
I made the assumption that MAUI was on .NET 7, and that is not the case. Yeah. So I was like, I better install the latest bleeding edge thing, and then I looked at the docs and I was like, oops.
Yeah. And
then I tried to uninstall it, and it's like, yeah, you can't uninstall. The uninstall tool literally says, like, you can't uninstall this version of .NET. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm stuck with it. So Sam helps me.
And this is the beauty of .NET, modern .NET, right? Like .NET 5 onwards, everything is a folder.
I'm going to stop that screen share for just a second and do it a different way, since it is now VNC viewable, I think. I don't have to have column ears. There we are.
I have a meeting in 13 minutes. It's one of those mornings where, acceptance key to happiness. I have like meetings from 8 to noon. I have like zero productivity today.
Okay, well, that's fine. We will be ending the show at the top of the hour anyway. So what the main point is, this is how you connect. So you come up here and you go through the wizard that takes you through all the steps. You may have to install some things on your Mac first.
And you need to make sure your Windows and your Mac are running the exact same version of .NET and the .NET MAUI workloads. But beyond that, then the nice thing, Ed, is you don't even need to be logged in to your Mac, right? You can just, leave it alone. Your Mac needs to be on, obviously, because Visual Studio needs to reach the Mac. But it will, log in as you on your local account. And beyond that, you don't need to see Mac at all. And this goes back to a little bit of what you have installed. So on Visual Studio on Windows, excuse me, there is... I need to stick to WinForms.
I'm going back to Java applets.
Oh, you can do WinForms with Blazor nowadays with .NET MAUI. But the point is, on Windows, there's a thing called the iOS Windows Simulator. Just so you don't have to open up your Mac. It will, as long as your Mac is on, it can reach the Mac. It can do the build from Xcode, and then it will actually open up your iOS simulator, your iPhone or iPad simulator, and just show it to you on your Windows machine. And that actually has touch as well, if you want to play around with that. So, hey, don't hate on COBOL. I did COBOL like for 3-4 years. That's fine.
I mean, if you want to make some big money, get back into it. If you ever don't see Sam on the show, it's because he found out how much COBOL programmers get paid. So we've got the connection set up pretty much. It's still installing some Maui bits, so I don't think we'll get to actually running the app today. But
it should be fairly quick installing the Maui bits now.
I was able. Well, we're streaming at the same time, so it's taking a little bit of my bandwidth to kind of multitask here. It's still installing Catalyst runtimes at the moment. But I did have it installed and working before. I was able to, from the command line, .NET new a Maui app and actually run a Maui app on the Mac. Now we'll be able to also run Visual Studio and remote compile things there. So on the next show, we'll probably actually tinker with some Maui Blazor hybrid stuff and see what we can do. We've got a conference coming up. Sam, are you going to DevUp? I can't remember.
I'm not.
You're not going to DevUp. Okay.
No.
So I'll be at DevUp next week. So there won't be a Blazor Power Hour next week because I think I'm driving that day. I think this is my travel day. Let's pull that up on the screen. So if anybody's from the area there, they'll know about the conference. I think they might have tickets for sale still if you're from the St. Louis region.
I don't hate DevOps, Fuhlschnabel. This is called DevUp, not ops.
Yeah, it's not DevOps.
But I also do hate DevOps. You're right.
I don't hate DevOps. I just don't understand it. I mean, I can't hate something I do not know anything about, right? See, I hate Mac because I actually have used one. Sorry, I had to go there.
Eigel is asking if we're coming to the NDC Oslo. I think Eigel, we are sponsoring, but I'm not sure who is going yet. I'm not speaking because I didn't submit. I may have had a conflict.
Assuming that's sharing. Okay. Look at all these awesome people, by the way. These are all folks that are going to be at DevUp up in St. Louis. It's actually St. Charles, but it's pretty close to St. Louis, like 30 minutes away. So if you're in the area and you want to come out and see us and all these other awesome people, then make sure you come over. Oh, hey, Burke's going to be there. I haven't seen Burke in like 4 years, I think. I have to say hi to him. Alyssa's going to be there with me. Chad's going to be there. Corey House. Lots of great folks coming out. Jay Harris. These are all folks we really know closely. Catherine from our team is going to be there. Jeremy Clark. I mean, look at all these people. Yeah.
So Fruit Schnabel is saying, I do get that NDC is a little expensive, and yes, but I mean they also get good quality. But just like last week, Fruit Schnabel, where are you, Fruit Schnabel? I'm forgetting. Are you in the UK? Because I was at a place called Techorama. This is in Belgium. Not as
Eagle's going to be at NDC.
Yeah.
What's up, Eagle?
Yeah, NDC is great. Oh, Fuhlschnabel is in Oslo. Okay. But if you can travel a little bit, then there are some conferences, around that are maybe not as expensive, but, still very good stuff. So there's Techorama that happens in Belgium. There's Techorama that happens in Netherlands. There is Basta, which happens in Germany, 2 places in Germany, one in Frankfurt, one in Mainz. So yeah, you got some choices.
Yeah. So I've got 3 sessions at DevUp, and there's one in particular that I'm working on right now called CSS Techniques for Blazor Developers. This one, I think, Sam, I might have to give you a little private session. I know you're a big fan of CSS and Sass.
Yeah, I do like my CSS. If I can get things to work.
I have a presentation that I'm putting together. The actual presentation is going to be written with CSS and Sass. So I've created a slide like, a PowerPoint-like application in Blazor that has the samples embedded into the code so it's like kind of like a meta thing. Yeah. So it should be pretty interesting. But I did a survey on Twitter asking folks what they wanted to see in this. And the results were really interesting. Like a lot of people seem to understand Blazor's CSS isolation pretty well, but seems like people are struggling with the tooling for like SAS and other things inside of like the .NET environment. So when you're in like a JavaScript based web app, it's kind of like integrated because it's, you know, they've taken, when I say they, like Angular and React have their own CLIs, and they've kind of integrated and absorbed Webpack into those CLIs and hidden it away from you. So there's an abstraction there that's, it feels like SAS is just like automatic. It just kind of just works, right? This is actually a JavaScript based SAS tool that comes with Webpack. You don't get that in Blazor because it's mostly .NET. You don't have an npm, package.json file and all that stuff. So it seems like people are like, well, I don't know where to even begin to get the SAS stuff because it's kind of been handed to me on Angular and React for so long.
It's a different world.
But it's actually just like 2 commands to install it and run it. So if you know where to look, and that's the hard part, is knowing where to look, it's really easy, but the finding the where to look part is the hard part. Because if you do any kind of like search for documentation on it, you get like the Angular and React documentation, and that's not going to help you at all. So that seemed to be the big sticking point. So I'll spend a little bit of time on that, and then I have some other really cool tips.
I have to double down on what Foolish Nabble is saying. Like you, I mean, how long have you been speaking? Like years and years, like decades now. But you need to challenge yourself. You need to do your presentations on a Mac.
So Smab, Smab says I'm cheating using the VS add-on web compiler. I would highly, highly recommend do not do that. This is not supported anymore. It is like severely out of date. It doesn't support a lot of the new functionality of SAS. And if you use any third-party tools, they're going to start choking on that web compiler and not compiling. Like you cannot compile Telerik SAS code using web compiler because it doesn't support the features that we're using, because the compiler's so out of date. There's a new version. So we've had people looking into this, and there's like 1 million forks. Mads created the original one. Yeah, you'll have to link me to it. Let me see what you're using, because every research that we've done on this turns up a unsupported version of web compiler. There's like 1 million forks of it that people are trying to revive, but it doesn't seem to be taking hold. So with just 2 commands, though, you can have the brand new version working, and it's literally that easy to install. So yeah, I would highly recommend dropping web compiler. It's going to cause you pain later.
Okay, I got 3 minutes before I have to jump onto a meeting.
Yeah,
Did your Mac Mini finish that?
Let's see if it is done yet. It did. So you want to just do a quick litmus test here?
Just try.
And then
we can see your screen, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I need to reshare.
Yeah, I go. If we do go up to NDC Oslo, we'll sure let you know. And Foolish Nabble, clearly, if you're in Oslo, we should get together.
All right. So we've got our Mac Mini. And I should be able to do .NET new. Wait, we should probably make a directory first, right?
No, so just go to Windows now.
You do it on Windows?
Yeah. You don't need to do stuff.
Let's try connect again.
Yeah, just try the connection again.
I'm seeing some green. Oh no! It still says the mono tool chain is not available. This is actually giving a 401 unauthorized. So there's could not install manifest.
You're making progress. We can figure it out. Or maybe just close down Visual Studio one time from the Windows side and then just try to reconnect again. Don't be logged into your Mac. Maybe log out and then maybe it'll be.
Yeah, the good old turn it off and on again.
Yeah.
But here, real fast, let's see, .NET news -I will show me everything. Nope. Is it just
What are you
I?
looking for? What are you looking for?
All of the
templates?
list of, yeah. Oh, it's dash list.
Dash list, yeah.
I is to install. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
L
there's
is
all
the
your
list.
Maui stuff.
So I've got the templates now, so I can easily just spin up these things. So we can play around with that next time as well.
Absolutely.
And we'll throw some show dates up here pretty soon. But I got to come back from the conference before I can do that. But we'll be back.
Yeah.
And Sam, appreciate your help getting me this far today. We've gotten pretty close. I think I can reinstall Visual Studio on that now, and it'll work as well. And that might actually fix some of the issues.
Yeah.
So, and that's Mab. I'm going to check this out after the show. Thanks for that. And again, just by the GitHub name here, Failwin web compiler. This is not something I'm going to trust probably in my production toolchain. Not because you can't trust things like this, but it's not like a big company behind it. These things keep getting what do you call it, like end of life. Just that's the only reason I say that. That's nothing like I'm not attacking these people for trying to open source this thing. But anyhow, Sam, I'm going to let you go. And then thanks, everybody. Thanks all the folks that came to chat with us today. And hope you learned something from my mistakes. And we'll see you soon.
See you, folks. Thanks, everyone.